Okay, so today we are going to do our Mexican tin art. The first thing you'll need to do is get a small piece of paper like this. They're on my stool by my desk if you haven't done one already. And you need to search Mexican folk art and pick a Mexican style design. For mine, I chose to draw a Sacred Heart, which is a typical Mexican design. After that's drawn, whatever you're putting in the middle, make sure you put some things kind of in the background around it. Mexican art has a lot of pattern all over it, so it's good to add some pattern in the background. It doesn't have to be very detailed because we are going to carve this. So after that's done, you'll take your sheet of metal and you're going to tape this onto your sheet of metal. So whatever color you want to show, you're going to tape your paper on the back of it. So I want the copper to show. So I'm going to tape this onto the back of that. And all you need to do is just at the top, fold it over a little bit. Just like that. And then you can fold it over a little bit on the back side too, just to make sure it stays in place. And just put a little bit of tape so it stays. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is just go over our drawing so that it presses and traces onto the metal part. Before you do that, this is very important that you take a whole newspaper and set it underneath you. The newspaper is going to give us a little bit of a cushion so that we can press down into the metal. Your hard table is just not going to work for that. So once you've got that, take your little wooden carving tool, and you can use a pencil too if you'd rather for this. It doesn't matter. Just wouldn't use a lead pencil. And then you're going to go around everything you drew in pencil and just outline it with this tool. And if you need to check what you've already traced, you're not sure if you got something yet, you can just turn it over and see what you've already pressed out. And you don't have to press down very much. This metal is delicate, so be kind of gentle with it. Okay, so I'm only going to do that part just so you guys can see how it works. After that is the whole thing is traced out. Do your background too. You can take your paper off, and now what you're going to do is look at it, and you'll see which parts that you want to go back over to press out more so that it looks more three-dimensional. So we'll turn it over, and I like to use the back end if I'm doing a large area, and I'll go back over those lines, and I'll press over, and the more you go over it, the more it's going to pop out and look more three-dimensional. Now, if you want to make it more defined on the front, which is a good idea, once you've gone from the back, turn it over to the front and then kind of trace the edges, and that'll give you a little more definition on the edge of your line. So keep on doing that and keep working with it, and you should end up with something more like this that looks like a three-dimensional piece of art with background, details, all of that. Be very, very gentle, because if you try to push down too hard or too fast, You can rip a hole in this stuff, and it's very expensive. Also, be careful with the pointy end of this. You don't want to poke a hole through it. So if you're using the pointed end of the stick, please be gentle. That's it. Let me know if you have any questions.